Hey everybody, just playing around on my phone. Tell me, do you know what Rangifer tarandus, Jewish people, Chinese food, giant socks, 1/6 of all retail sales in the United States, the planet Saturn, Kentucky Fried Chicken, Jesus, and magic mushrooms all have in common? No? Christmas! Merry Christmas. To be politically correct, Happy Hanukkah and Yuletide and Saturnalia and Festivus for the rest of us and Kwanzaa, which, unlike what I thought, isn't an ancient African tradition and was started in the 60s after the Watts riots. Look it up. And, Malcolm Xmas and Happy Holiday in honor of the Flying Spaghetti Monster. Happy Kardashian Christmas with a K. And no, I'm not doing Newton Miss. Screw Newton Miss. I think I covered everything. Oh, you know what? If you're not satisfied with any of those alternatives, happy holidays. We're going to celebrate Christmas, where we just drop the T. You still pronounce it the same, but now it's named after me. Cool. What does Christmas make you guys think of? Things like Jesus and presents and Santa Claus and fruitcake. Boo. Things like eggnog. We can't forget the most important ingredient. So all that stuff I was just talking about, you're going to have to just look up on your own. I don't feel like explaining it. But I did want to talk briefly about Santa Claus. Did you know that the historical figure upon whom Santa is based was born in a long time ago? In like the 3rd century, like near the end of it-ish, in what would now be Turkey. So Santa Claus is actually Turkish. Or, I mean, it wasn't Turkey back then, so I guess he'd be Greek or Roman or whatever. Who cares? It was a guy named Saint Nicholas. He was a bishop. He was a religious dude. He inherited a bunch of money. He was super rich. He gave gifts to poor people, which I guess is why we now give gifts, some think. Some people say he attended the Council of Nicaea and actually bitch-slapped a guy for talking shit about the J-Man. And then he got thrown in jail and locked up in chains, and he also fell asleep during a lot of the important parts of the proceeding, which is why some claim his name was taken off the records. Others say it was pulled from the records because he wasn't actually the reason, allegedly, why you hang stockings is because he was such a generous guy that there were these daughters of this dude who didn't have any money. They were super poor and they needed dowries. You guys know what a dowry is? It was like back in the day, and even nowadays, I guess in some places, you have to have money to marry your daughters because nobody wants to marry poor chicks. And so instead of selling them into slavery or making them prostitutes, they were hanging some stockings over the fire to dry, and St. Nicholas dropped gold down the chimney, which is why we get the stockings and the gift givings and the chimney. And the gold somehow, even though he dropped it down the chimney, it landed in the stockings. And they didn't have to be whores. Oh, look, Daddy, I can now have a husband chosen for me, and I don't have to have sex for money. And that's where the practice comes from, the tradition. Santa Claus. Let's see, what else?
Only a hippopotamus will do.
Saint Nicholas, whom Santa is based on, was always depicted as a really stern religious figure and sometimes a creepy, stringy elf. And somehow through like poems and advertisements and pop culture and pictures, they blended him with Father Christmas, who was like an English Yuletide party animal deity person. And some people say that Coca-Cola came up with a red and white suit, and that is probably not true. Oh, yeah, right, the coolest part of all. Some people say that Santa wears a red and white suit because of magic mushrooms. Like somehow the practices of shamans in the north They would like pick mushrooms for solstice, which is Christmas, solstice. They're very close together. Some people say that we celebrate on December 25th because of Saturnalia, and others say because the solstice is on the 21st and the sun remains low on the horizon for 3 days up to the 24th, and on the 25th it begins its ascent back into the height of the sky, promoting light and heat, which cavemen loved. They loved that light and that heat. Anyway, I digress. Magic mushrooms. The shamans would pick that shit and trip balls for Christmas time, solstice, Christmas, Yule, whatever the hell you want to call it, and they would give it as gifts, and there would be so much snow, they'd have to climb down through a hole in the roof, hence the chimney, flying reindeer, because everyone is high. I don't know, it's this whole big thing. It may or may not be true, but it's probably the funnest theory about Santa Claus I've ever heard. The name Santa Claus comes from the Dutch calling Saint Nicholas Sinterklaas. I have no idea why, and it just sort of evolved into what it is now. And Saint Nicholas Day, he has his own day, which is actually on December 6th, not that any of you care. Maybe in Europe they still do. And he happens to be the saint of sailors for some reason. So if you're ever on a boat and you come back safe, don't forget to thank Santa.
Now, from Joyful Noise Records, it's A Shit Show Christmas. Chris and Jesse sing all the holiday classics they can't quite remember. Silver balls, it's Chris time again. With such favorites as jingle balls, jingle on my balls. Christmas balls, jingle balls, it's song about balls. Oh, hear those sleigh balls ring-a-ling, jing, jing, jing-a-ling, jing. And who could forget? Holy balls, silent balls. I want a hippopotamus for Christmas. Only a hippopotamus will do. That's got me into the holiday spirits. Hark, hear the balls, sweet silver balls, all seem to say ding dong ding da 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 da. A Shit Show Christmas can be yours for just 5,000 easy payments of 13.32 cents. Supplies are limited. Order now.
Joyful Noise Records will not be held responsible for murder, suicide, divorce, or loss of friendship resultant of purchase.
So,
everyone's chillin' and your uncle's a felon.
it is now time to play everyone's favorite holiday game.
Wonderful time.
Name that Savior! Thank you, Jesse. It probably isn't picking up, but I appreciate your effort. Our first contestant was born of a virgin, followed by 12 disciples. Sound familiar? His birth was foretold by the coming of a star, upon which 3 wise men appeared, and this dude could walk on water. Who could it be? I'm going to take a guess that it is the man of the hour, Jesus Christ, a Taurus. Egyptian deity, not very Christmassy, but you know what, good for him. Our next contestant earned himself a little reputation for feeding throngs of people with seemingly magic powers. He healed the sick, he could also walk on water, he taught peace, love, and equality, and after his death, he was resurrected.
Go see the doctor tonight.
Buddha. Did I spell that right?
Reindeer loved on
Weird,
him.
huh? We don't have time to think about it now. Next up.
They were married.
Okay. This fellow was also born of a virgin. Those virgins are really getting around. Born on December 25th, performed miracles. He was referred to as the way, the truth, and the light. And he gave his life to save the world. Who do you think it could be? You're going to be wrong. It's Mithra! Who the hell is Mithra? This contestant was raised in the desert, suffered for the sake of others, forsaken temporarily by his father. He had supernatural powers, and he fought darkness and prevailed. Though the story isn't over yet. Any guesses? We're talking about Luke Skywalker! You should have seen that one coming.
You Jew.
Our next contestant was born into poverty, perhaps like someone you've heard of. He preached a strict theological doctrine. He amassed a large following of believers, defied his enemies, and, of course, he banged a whore. Oh no, could it possibly be? It's Jimmy Swaggart! Look him up. And finally, here's a man who was probably born a regular biological mortal birth like you and I. Alleged heir to the throne of Israel, being descended from David. Didn't bang horse, but some say he was married. He defied the Pharisees, whatever that is, and he was crucified for his trouble. What you get, troublemaker? Going around telling people they don't have to exchange money and pay to worship. What were you thinking, Mr. Jesus H. Christ, the man of the hour? Oh,
Baby, it's cold inside.
Jesus. So is any of that true? Well, it's just a bunch of crap I read on the internet. But my little rule of thumb that I like to live by is, if someone took the trouble to put it on the internet, it's probably true! Good night, everybody!
Merry Christmas!